Hi, I'm Sherry Sturman, Director of Crayola Education, and we're excited to share today's program on wellness journaling. It's part of our new series, Creative Spa for Teachers, that's for everyone who educates kids. This is a special time and place where you can rejuvenate, refresh, and rekindle your creative spirit. As parents and educators, we are so busy taking care of others that this is an important time for us to pause, celebrate our creative inner selves, and enjoy experiences that energize us. I'm thrilled to introduce today's guest, Rashonda James. She's a licensed social worker and therapist who specializes in so many areas: family therapy, behavior management, and trauma recovery. Let's start by learning more about you, Rashonda. What got you interested in social work and therapy? Reflection and interpersonal connection, what role does that play in rejuvenating ourselves?
Thank you so much for that introduction. Oh gosh, I've been doing therapy for about 11 years. So let me think back. I believe that I definitely first got interested in therapy and social work, and just trying to be like that change in people's lives at the age of 17. When I first went to therapy, I had an absolutely wonderful therapist. I had just some struggles connecting with others and expressing my emotions. I was one of those people who was, very used to just minimizing my emotions and being afraid to take up spaces. So I really learned how to express myself. I really learned how to trust my inner feelings and really just normalize like being able to say that I'm uncomfortable or I don't like this, and really not shy away from my negative feelings. After that experience, I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder like how many other people don't know that this is possible, that are really just afraid of their emotions and afraid of different circumstances because they haven't taken the time to be able to talk about it, to explore. I kind of want to be that vehicle for change in people's lives because I was so inspired by my experience and just having just a wonderful therapist. And so I went off and I went to go get my degree in social work. And then I came back and I actually worked under my original therapist. So my therapist at 17 became my supervisor and trained me to be the therapist that I am today. When I think about the interpersonal and reflection and why it's so important, I think that during these trying times, especially during the times of the pandemic, that we really found out just how sometimes fragile our mental and emotional spirits can be. And so taking that time to really understand who you are, identify like your place, your role in your life and other people's lives can really help you just connect and understand like what is happiness and what do I enjoy and what is my passion and where you should actually really be putting your energy toward connecting with yourself and just understanding who you are with that interpersonal relationship with yourselves, and then taking it out to others is so important.
I love that. I love how you talk about helping people deal with change and to be agents of change so that they can have more direction and more mastery over where they are going in their lives. That is beautiful. And how fortunate that you were able to reconnect with the therapist from your youth and continue that learning journey together in a professional colleague capacity. That's beautiful. What a story. One of the things I think is so fascinating about your work is that you specialize in an approach that maybe some of our viewers might not know about, which is narrative therapy. So, Rashonda, please explain what is narrative therapy and why does this blend of personal reflection and journaling practices, why is this so beneficial for overall well-being and self-care?
It's not really focused on one thing. You're really looking at the whole individual. So if you think about narrative, you think about like the story. And so we often read novels and we're kind of like going on their journey throughout their life. And we're kind of just like, oh, wow, like that popped up and that popped up. And oh my gosh, like that must be connected to their childhood. And so that's really what narrative therapy is, that you're looking at your life story and the journey of how you got into this place. What are some themes that are coming up all the time? So in my personal story, because I love being transparent, I think that's so important. In my personal story, a sense of powerlessness was always coming up where I felt like I didn't have a voice. I really felt like I didn't have a say. And so in my childhood, that was really evident. And so in my adulthood, especially when I went in to therapy at 17, it was like, oh my goodness, this was a core belief of mine. And so narrative therapy really like allows you to take a journey through your childhood, adolescence, and adulthood and really identify, hey, what is the thing that's coming out and how can I make that shift? So for me, it was like, I don't want to feel powerless anymore. How can I be an agent of change in my life? How can I rewrite my life story and say, you know what, I am powerful, and what does that look like? And so in terms of kind of really looking at narrative therapy and connecting that to journaling, it's really beautiful because when you're journaling, it's you, yourself, and your thoughts. And it's this really intimate place where you can just uncover and understand what's going on with you mentally, emotionally, physically, documenting your day, talking about something, that really upsets you. And you know what? No one has to know about it. And you can still really make shifts and understand with insight. I'm a big believer that with awareness, like you can do almost anything. And so journaling can be that really, really special way to increase awareness about what you're feeling and understand it, and then decide what you want to do with that information. Do you want to take it to a therapist? Do you want to take it to a friend? Do you want to take it to your significant other? But if you really understand the themes and the roles that are going on in your life, and then really be able to process that through journaling and writing, or just like making little notes and scribbling little thoughts, it doesn't even have to be complete thoughts, but it gives you the ability to say, this is where I am, to ground yourself in the moment and really understand.
That is beautiful. Wow. I love the way you describe narrative therapy as a life story that builds your own personal self-awareness. And then your emphasis on you share the parts that you choose to, that you decide who and what you will share. You've excited our viewers. They want to dive in and do it, but some of them might not have a lot of confidence in creative writing, or perhaps in their sketching. They might not feel like they're an artist. And I love how open you are about just starting. This doesn't have to be perfection. Give us some tips on the kinds of journals that our viewers might want to start doing to express their thoughts and feelings that don't have a lot of demands on them in terms of being a professional artist or a master writer.
I'm so happy that you brought that up because it's oftentimes like very intimidating. I know for myself, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm writing and everything feels like it has to be perfect and grammatically correct. And I'm like, listen, we're going to blow that out the water. This is you and yourself. This is for you. And so it can be really unique. If you're like, you know what? I don't really want to like write down everything at that time because like you said, it can be intimidating. One of the ways that you can do it is bullet journaling. So I have like a couple different journals that I keep at my disposal, depending on what I'm feeling, how much time I have, because as a mother, a wife, I definitely am a big believer in, being aware of your time. And so bullet journaling can be really nice because you're literally just writing down a bullet and then writing what's going on. So you'll just dot and say, I'm upset about such and such. And then, another dot, and you're bulleting just pinpoints of like what's going on with you. And so you can come back to it and further elaborate on it, or it can just be that bookmark. With also bullet journaling, you can also use it as a tracker. And so at times I kind of do like maybe like a 5-day challenge for myself. And I am trying to consume like those like big 8 cups of water or a gallon of water if I'm being extra. And so you can use bullet journaling to just track your water intake, how much sleep you're having, how much food. And so bullet journaling is a really cool way that's very minimalistic. And really, you can think of it as a to-do list, but you're using it for mental health. You're using it as a way to increase awareness and understanding of yourself. Another one that I love, I actually like, this was probably like my favorite that I started out doing in my younger years, was a dream journal. And what I love about a dream journal is because sometimes, you just feel like that you have meaning to your dreams, but then like after you're going throughout your day, you're like, oh my goodness, like I don't remember that. And so a dream journal, having that by your bedside, can be a beautiful way for you to just understand and kind of explore that, subconscious side of your mind. And maybe you just woke up feeling really good from that dream. And like, you're like, I don't want that to end. I want to really like cement that in my life. And so drawing, writing about the experience of your dream can really be beautiful. And, of course, I'm a realist. I know that sometimes dreams can also be scary. If you do have just this moment where you woke up kind of afraid and that dream really is impacting you, writing about that, journaling about that, even sketching about that, which I'm going to talk about in just a second, but you can really also just explore that fear or that sadness that comes from a dream, because, it can be just really difficult to sometimes shake off those scary dreams. And so understanding it and exploring it and then kind of just like letting it go can be a beautiful way for you to also keep moving in life and keep moving towards your goals and just being in that positive state and just ready to handle anything that life throws at you. A travel journal. So if you don't want to really write at all, you can just use it as a kind of scrapbook / travel journal. So if you're a person who loves to go to different eateries, or you love traveling, or you're like, you know what, I don't get to travel that much, but when I do, I absolutely love it, then maybe doing a travel journey, taking pictures and just like cutting them out and adding beautiful phrases and kind of even using it as your own vision board as well is also a beautiful way to not really have to write. It doesn't really feel intimidating. You're just kind of exploring and just really wanting to have those memories last within that experience. So it's really a beautiful way to really release that creative energy. And so, for myself, I don't always want to see my writing, as I shared. And so having like my little coloring things and just drawing and just like maybe like attempting to sketch a beautiful building that I may come across on my travels. It's just a really cool way for me to get away from the words and to really get toward the creative side. A gratitude journal. You can really just use it for you, and it doesn't take a lot of time, like 5 minutes, and you're just writing down at least 3 things in the morning, in the afternoon, at nighttime about things that you're grateful for. And so what it does is that if you're having a difficult day, it helps you to shift toward the positive. So you're starting off with things that you're thankful for, whether that be family, friends, water, shelter, just a positive outlook. Maybe, for you teachers out there, maybe you're just thankful that you actually get to see your kiddos in the classroom. Focus on just the positive for yourself, and it doesn't take a lot of time at all.
So many great ideas. I love that combination of writing and sketching. At Crayola, we often say, make thinking visible. It's one of our mantras. And that's exactly what the journals that you just described do. It's a wonderful way to capture the essence of an experience with a quick visual symbol or a sketch and some words that will help you remember it. Some gratitude comments, beautiful. Now, give us some suggestions for how we can capture that when a notebook might not be handy or when our hands are busy, like if we're driving.
It can be hard just transitioning from work to home. And so you have just that drive in that time. How can I express myself? I really need to get this out. If I'm not singing and belting to the top of my lungs, thinking that I'm Whitney Houston or Adele, then I love just opening up the voice memo in my phone and just ranting. Sometimes I'm like, I'm so thankful for this day. It's been really positive. I'm proud of myself for being able to overcome this situation. I was uncomfortable, but I was able to express myself. And so I'm just talking this out. And so this is me actually like recording it. Or sometimes I'm just like, I'm very frustrated. I don't know how I really need to make this shift, but I know I need to make this shift. And I'm just confused. I'm overwhelmed. I really don't want to talk to my mom or my brother or my husband. This is not something that I want. So here I am talking to myself. And this can be in words, but you can also say it. And so what I often do is I'm using that as a way to really just comfort myself, really just to get it out of my mind so that when I'm going to work the next day, or I'm meeting with those clients, or I'm going to tackle my 3 kiddos and just have that energy and that mental space for them when I'm driving and when I don't have my hands free, opening up and using your voice as an auditory processor of your thoughts and your emotions can be just another, like just add it to your toolkit of ways that you can definitely express yourself and really just get those feelings out or celebrate those wins. And what I love also about voice memos is that like you don't really have to worry about somebody maybe reading it. You don't have, and you can also just quickly hit that delete button. If you're like, I said it, it's out there, I put it out there, I really just want to move forward, I don't want to really think about this anymore, you can easily hit the delete. So you can either go back to it or delete it.
What a clever tip. We have our cell phones with us all the time, and I've never thought about using voice memo as a way to capture a thought for myself, self-talk. Those words of encouragement, gratitude. Wow, just tap on that voice memo and communicate with yourself. Beautiful tip. So Rashonda, you have whet our viewers' appetites to start building a wellness journal. And I think the best way to start is for you to give some prompts and for them to respond, even if they haven't, found the journal or decorated the cover. You just maybe on some scrap paper that people have handy. How about if we all just start to jot down some notes to your prompts?
Grab a piece of paper, grab your pen. If you're like me and I'm an avid journaler, I have my journal right here. Write about a difficult memory and the coping mechanisms that you used at that time. Would you change the way that you dealt with it? Either journal or you can sketch or you can just bullet journal things that come to mind. Maybe it's not one experience, maybe it's multiple ones, and maybe you can't even really express, but you can just jot down what you're actually feeling and come back to it. Another thing that I like to add is that when you're journaling, your mind can kind of float away and it can kind of be just difficult in the beginning to just sit down and just write down your emotions. I love to just add different elements and layers in the room. So I will often light a candle. I will also sometimes just play like little soft music in the background to really just help just ground me in the moment. And so if my feelings are really just like really all over the place, it just allows me to really dive deeper into my writing and just really explore, but also feel very comfortable and that I'm in a safe place. You can also write a letter to your future you. So if you're just imagining yourself like, okay, where do I see myself in 3 years, 6 months from now, and just write a letter to that person, either encouraging them, giving them some wisdom, giving them some advice, or really just envisioning who that person would be. In detail, describe a perfect day. Write about the people in your life that make you feel most at ease, and what do they do to make you feel that way? And so what these journal prompts really do is just help you kind of just explore the emotions and really just identify some strengths and some positivity in your life while still not just shying away from the negative. So I'm all about, yes, I want it to be all feeling good and like have the positive memories. But in order for you to really experience positive things, we have to make sure we're not hiding and neglecting the negative emotions in your life.
I love that candor to your directions and your questions. I want to let you know you've inspired me to create a healing journal, and just took a piece of artwork and just taped it to an inexpensive book that had blank pages, and just in response to your one prompt, I just did like a sketch of how I tend to in an argument try to one up it, and it keeps escalating, and now have an arrow saying that perhaps the winner in an argument is the person who stays calmer and brings the energy down a bit. So that was really helpful that you asked that, and I just clip a little pen on here.
I love that you did like a combination of some sketching with some arrows, with also some words. And I saw like a little bit of bulleting and some full sentences and sometimes some one words. And so I just encourage, all of you out there, especially you wonderful teachers who are, used to writing and grading things, that it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be one way. You can start out writing and then move to sketches and then move back to writing. And so just do whatever speaks to you and for you to understand it, because no one else has to get it. Like only you have to get it.
That's what's really so special about your advice, that we're doing these journals for ourselves. And you've given us permission to be really honest with ourselves without worrying about anybody looking over our shoulder, interfering with those thoughts or judging those thoughts. So that even if we're not ready to share the answers with our colleagues or our loved ones, we can reflect back on this and see personal growth. And that's really what this is about, right? That we move through some things and get to a stronger place. Rashonda, show us some of the journals that you and your family have made.
I have 3 lovely kiddos, and so I'll start off with them because I'm just like super excited that, you know, this is something that I do, you know, primarily like once a week where we have time. What I love for my kids is just to combine just the coloring aspect and also the writing aspect. So I have just ranges of different ages. And so right here, what I did is I kind of like tore it out because everybody has their own book, but I have like just a journal of prompt, and I just told my daughter right here, color how you feel. And so this is what she came up with. And then she wrote that this is her happy. If you have your kiddos and they're at the desk and it's like a creative art time, writing just a journal prompt on the board and just having them have just a scrap piece of paper, some coloring, some pencils, and letting them go. This is my other daughter. And so what I wrote right here is, what would you do if you were the main character in your favorite fairy tale? And so she like wanted to make it a little bit 3D. And what she wrote is, in my fairy tale, I will eat, put my feet in the water, and go horse riding. And then my son right here, what a prompt that I wrote for him was, when you get mad or grumpy, what is one thing that helps you calm down? And so he colored this and he wrote, I will take 5 deep breaths. During that time, they're journaling and coloring because they do best if they kind of go back and forth. They're very much visual learners and love that about themselves. And then I'm also journaling as well. I also have another one right here that is more guided. And so I also, as a therapist, need inspiration as well. So this one is one of the ones that I go and it's like, choose your own journey. So with this one, there's like a self-improvement option, a spiritual option, a destination option. And so I love just kind of just writing and drawing different things and using just the different aspects. So if I have just something that I want to free write, I will go to my journal that's just kind of blank. And if I'm like, I know I want to talk about something, I know I want to like release something, but I don't know what it is, then I'll go to my guided journal.
Rashonda, I love this idea of tracking your goals, and you've offered to make it visual for us, so it's not just a list with numbers. Please show us how you can take a goal like drinking water or hours you sleep and turn it into a visual tracker.
So what I'm going to be sharing with you guys is a sleep tracker, but of course this can be adapted to many different things. And so I like to just label what I'm tracking, because I could be tracking many different things. And so I like to sometimes start with the visual before I just go in with the numbers and just chart everything. And so I like to just imagine for myself what is positive and what kind of puts me in that calm state. And so since I'm talking about sleep, I really love trees. It's something very calming, especially when it's raining outside. And so I'm just going to demonstrate like how I want to visually see that as I'm tracking. And so right now I'm going to sketch just a tree as visualization for what just makes me feel calm. And when I think about just the branches of the trees, I think about things that I want to really think about for myself, peace, healing, all the positive things that come when I'm getting just adequate sleep. I'm less grumpy. I have more patience. I have more tolerance for things and people. Just have something visually that motivates you and kind of stimulates your mind as you're also thinking for yourself of, what do I want this to represent? This is my journal and I want to make it for me. And so what I also like to add is in the branches, I like to just add in words, what I want to inspire myself with. And so I wrote down peace, inspire, calm, rest, love, because sleep is also a part of self-love. And so if I'm taking care of myself, that is me providing self-care as well. So if I'm thinking to myself, what is this for me? And then I like to just, you know, make it for myself and like, these are what's stemming out. And so I'm going to write my name because these are things that I want to embody. So these are things that I want Rashonda to embody. So if you're tracking or if you're journaling and you're using one of the prompts, such as like what inspires you, or you're writing or drawing something to your future self, think about words that come to mind. It does not always have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a paragraph or, like I said, grammatically correct. This to someone else may be like, so strange, but it's inspiring to me and it makes me feel good and it inspires me as I'm about to track what I am tracking, which is my sleep. So I'm going to go down, and at the top, I'm going to draw a line right here. And of course, in a perfect world, I'd have a ruler, but you know what? I don't. And so I'm going to keep going with it because we can be short on time. And again, I don't want to get caught up in perfection, but progress, and get caught up in the process of me healing and getting to that special place that I want to, which is more hours of sleep, so that I can be calm, restful, and have the sense of peace that I want. So up here will be the hours. Ooh, and if I get up to that 11 hours of sleep, that is a good day. Weekend, if I'm just doing like a 5-day tracker, I can do, um, Monday and then Friday. So on Monday, let's say I got 6 hours of sleep. And then on Tuesday, I maybe, was staying up late and grading papers and I really didn't get a lot of sleep. So let's say I went back to 4 because I am trying to, get all of that work done. And so I kind of regressed. And so then we're going to go, and, colors really just bring it out and make it more, vibrant, and help you just kind of understand and kind of just visually connect. And so let's see, on Wednesday, I was like, man, I really crashed early because I stayed up so late on Tuesday. So then I went over here on Wednesday and I was like, okay, I really am going to be intentional about my sleep because I was restless. I really struggled that day. And so I kind of moved over and I got 9 hours of sleep. And then on Thursday, I was like, oh my gosh, this felt so good. I really want this to continue. And so I made sure that I got another hour of sleep because I was able to really just be mindful, schedule out things, be purposeful with my time, and really shut down when I needed to shut down. And then, you know what? I'm going to celebrate because it's Friday. And I feel really good. And I just want to just celebrate getting through the week. So I'm going to just, maybe just dial it back and squeeze in an hour to myself to just binge watch some TV or take a bubble bath or listen to some music, then I probably maybe got like on average 6 hours of sleep. And so you get to kind of then just track for yourself how this can kind of just, and sometimes you can do it horizontally or vertically, but I really like when I have like a beautiful picture, I like to have it connected. So then you'll just, connect the things and say, you know what? Okay. And if you want to add a little extra to it, so this is kind of like my sleep pattern. And then you can go and then you can add another layer to it. And you can say on Monday, I felt, tired. On Tuesday, and this is just shorthand, you guys, you can definitely explore this a lot more. You can write this out. You can come onto the next page and really have at it on each day and still add that writing part or still add more words to it on the other side. But this is just the visual side. So on Tuesday, if I'm wondering why I was cranky, why I struggled, I can go and I can look and I say, you know what, on Tuesday, I really only got 4 hours of sleep. So that makes sense. I understand when you have less sleep, your body is struggling to function. And so that can be really difficult. And so having that understanding of what you're feeling emotionally and mentally, maybe you're asking too much of yourself and you're getting disappointed in yourself and frustrated. But if you look back on Tuesday, it's really hard to function and be attuned to the kids and to your family if you've gotten less sleep.
Hearing you talk about the tree and nature inspiring you inspired me to make a cover. So I've had this burlap cover journal for a while. It's got, a sketch pad inside and a great pouch to put the art supplies. And of course, I use my favorite Crayola watercolor pencils. And I was thinking, ferns just come up naturally. They've been around since the beginning of the deciduous forests, and they're in fossils, and they just remind me of some past, some reflections, and some future growth. So this is just one idea of decorating a journal, but Rashonda, you've seen so many more and created so many journals. Can you give us some additional tips for how we might take that blank cover and turn it into a real personal treasure?
You can print off things. My kids love anime, like I love anime. And so we'll print off like anime characters, and then we'll color them, and then we'll them on top of our journal. You can also cut out inspirational words, go through like your magazines and through different books, and just like kind of cut them out and like scrapbook it. You can also take a picture of yourself and like print it out and put it on there and draw pretty colorful things around it. So it's really about just merging and like what will inspire you. That's the goal of journaling, is what will inspire you to color, draw, words, art, pictures, a window into your soul. And so if that is like a tree, like it is for me, if that's beautiful vines, like it is for Sherry, then, find out what will get you to open it up and to not be afraid to really take that time with you and yourself.
I just want to mention to our viewers that you can sign up for the Crayola Education e-newsletters and be updated on all future Creative Spa for Teachers sessions, as well as many other programs that we have, the Art of Learning, Read Along, Draw Along. You'll get teaching tips and self-care tips every month delivered in your email. So Rashonda, I really want to thank you for how many tips and suggestions that you provided to us. This idea of a wellness journal and narrative therapy has been so meaningful for thinking about our feelings and our inner selves. And just wonder if you've got some additional suggestions for parents or teachers. What are some tips that you have as we bring these thoughts to students?
As parents, as teachers, really modeling it and showing them that, it can be creative. It's for you. It doesn't really have to have an agenda. It doesn't have to have a goal. You can also incorporate music therapy. My kids absolutely love music. And so it's a wide range of things. And so oftentimes what you can do is you can pair one of their strengths, which is if they love music like my kids, then I'll play a song and I'll say, you know what? I want you to color and draw and tell me what that song makes you feel. And so teachers and parents, you could also use that as a way to inspire and use it as a show and tell moment for you guys. And so parents, you draw, color. I'm looking down in my journal, you guys, because I'm still loving it because it's for me and I made it. But you can really just write and draw and just inspire them and then talk about it and use it as a way to express in a dialogue and a way of connection in the room, a way of also talking about coping skills without actually saying coping skills. So for my son, if I talk about ways that we can calm ourselves down, it's him writing it, but visually also drawing and also now knowing that, hey, I can also use deep breaths, but you know what? Coloring is also a beautiful way that I can calm myself down. I've been also just shocked by some of the things. I was like, wait, in a fairy tale, you'd actually go horse riding? You've never rode a horse. So I get to just see this beautiful window into their mind, and they also understand as well. And it's wait, if you love horse riding, is it something that you want to do? Is it something that you want to talk about? So really just use journaling to just break the mold, be transparent, show them your messiness. It's a way for connection and to show that, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be yourself.
What a great line. A visual journal is a window into the mind. Wow, this has been a fantastic session that has blended self-expression and well-being. Well, we really would love to thank Rashonda James for inspiring us today. So many great ideas. And I know that our viewers are going to want to keep up with Rashonda and learn more about her work. You can visit her website and stay in touch with her. We want to thank all of our viewers for joining us. Stay well, stay strong, and take care of yourself creatively.
I'm wishing you guys the best on your journey. I hope that it's creative, messy, and just fun along the way. Sending you all virtual hugs.
Bye-bye.